freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 452 of Gun Freedom Radio, where we engage, we educate, and we inform. We are brought to you by azfirearmsauctions.com, where you set the price on guns, ammo, and accessories. I am one of your hosts, Cheryl Todd.
And I'm the other guy, Dan Todd. Our theme today is Tour de Patriot, and our guest is Adam Boyd. Adam is a former law enforcement officer and SWAT operator with a distinguished career dedicated to serving and protecting the community. Transitioning from a tactical background, Adams founded Soleful Training, a company specializing in implementing comprehensive organizational wellness programs designed to enhance physical and mental health in the workplace.
That's exciting. Welcome to the show, Adam.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
This is so cool. And are you in Arizona right now?
Yeah, I live in Southern Arizona. I'm in a very small town near the Mexican border. So me and my family moved out of Phoenix around 2022. I retired my badge then, and we moved to my wife's hometown, and we get out of the heat. And
yeah,
we love raising our daughter in a place where we can grow our own food, and we buy meat from the ranch down the road, and we can walk everywhere we go. It's just an amazing place to be.
Very nice.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, we're in Arizona, but we're just outside of Phoenix. So, yeah, it's pretty warm right now, but we love Arizona. It has been the land of opportunity for us, and I love how you just described one of our smaller towns here in this beautiful state. And before we get too deep into this, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Adam, I just want to say, we walk to the mailbox and back in this heat. It's 100.
That's about it.
It's 100 and something degrees.
Yeah,
it's like
no doubt.
For everyone listening, it's terrible here. Do not move to the place that I'm in. Just pretend it doesn't exist.
Exactly. No, you're exactly right. That is the way that we should definitely describe our state. So we were saying you are the visionary behind something called Tour de Patriot. Please talk to us about what is this effort?
So Tour de Patriot is going to be a 1,200-mile bike ride that starts in Exeter, New Hampshire, and it's going to end in Savannah, Georgia. Along the way, I'm going to make stops in about every 40 to 60 miles, all the major cities, and we're going to document what made our country amazing to begin with. I'm going to stop at the Liberty Bell and, the 9/11 Memorial and the Freedom Trail in Boston, and, small businesses along the way, highlight some of the older taverns and restaurants. And I see so much negativity on social media that I felt like I wanted to do something to be impactful, but I didn't want to just complain. I wanted to do something amazing. Mm-hmm. And along the way, not only are we going to highlight our positive American history, I'm also going to speak to every American about what it means to be an American. There's so much divide right now. And I feel like a lot of the conversations we have are talking at each other, not to each other. And I believe we have more in common than we have apart. And I would really like to bridge the gap.
That is awesome. And what an amazing journey to kind of take us all back to where it all started and, kind of tap into that DNA, right? That we should still in this day and age have pride in what our nation was formed to do. Are we imperfect in some ways? Heck yeah, but it's because we're human. Right? Humans are imperfect creatures. Tap into that, maybe a little bit of that rebel spirit that, we want to want to push against the mainstream, push against the status quo, and just kind of reground ourselves in being individuals who can grow our own food, right? We don't have to be a lemming and, just go and, shop at the overpriced, chemicalized foods. Where is that? Why is that even a sign of a rebel spirit nowadays? But it is, so tap into these things. I love that you're doing this. What was it that really like pushed the needle and you're like, okay, I have a 4-year-old at home. Maybe that's it. I'm going to be away for a while because I've got a 4-year-old at home. What pushed you over the line to say this is the thing?
Oddly enough, this came about in kind of an interesting way. I was in the hospital with my daughter, and we had a lot of downtime, so I was just playing on my phone, and I was just curious about what the longest bar crawl ever was, and it's 3,000 miles for anybody who's curious.
That's wild. 3,000-mile bar crawl.
Yeah, two guys did it in Europe over like 125 days or something like that. And like, as an endurance athlete, I'm always like curious about like what drives the human spirit. And, like I want to do bigger and better things. And not that I wanted to break that record, but, it was just kind of like I fell down a rabbit hole of like dumb stuff. And the idea stuck with me. And I was like, you know what? I bet I could do something really cool with kind of that concept. But instead of a bar crawl, I could kind of do a history crawl and go through our original colonies. And, as you said, like we have a checkered past, right?
Mm-hmm.
But instead of dwelling on the negative, like, why don't we highlight how far we've come?
Yes.
We've gotten rid of slavery. We've gotten rid of Jim Crow. Do we still have problems today? Absolutely. But like when you see where we started and where we were at, like, why not push the needle further in the direction we were going instead of dwelling on tearing down Thomas Jefferson's statue?
Oh my
like,
gosh.
Why don't we use it as a reminder of not to go backwards?
Yes. Oh my gosh. What a beautiful thing that would be. So, so exactly what are you going to do in each place? And I love that you call it a history crawl. And Danny's like, what's a bar crawl? I love that my husband doesn't know what a bar crawl is.
I've drank a lot, but
yeah, so it is. You go from place to place to place, and
Okay.
it's kind of a social experience, a cultural experience. But so you're going to show up at the Liberty Bell. I guess this is going to be a social media event, or how can people follow it? What is the nuts and bolts of it?
Yeah, so we're going to document this on social media. My Instagram is soulful_training. Soulful, like the sole of your foot. I'm just paying homage to my running background. We're going to do lives. I'm going to probably do reels. We're going to do clips. And I would love to put this into like a documentary type long form video. And like basically I'll stop at the Liberty Bell. I'll do a little quick video about like the background of it and the significance in American history. And then we'll move on to the next thing. And then hopefully after 26 days of this, we're going to have a whole lot of history that's documented, and we can put together a really cool, kind of documentary style film. And one of the other things that I'm doing is out of the photos that we take, I've talked with all the historical societies along the way, and we're going to put together a coffee table book to commemorate the event that you'll be able to buy on the website, which is tourdepatriot.com.
That is a super cool idea. The documentary film, I think, would be amazing, shot right, with the right lighting and the right elements of why you're there and what had taken place there in history. I love that idea. So this sounds like something that might take some money to put together.
Yes, a little bit. So I'm working this event in partnership with Mom and Dad Army, which are organizations that are aimed to strengthen the family and protect children. And we're trying to raise money, whether through donation, sponsorship. You can go onto my website, soulfultraining.com, and buy a program. So anything that's purchased and what I do right now, is going to help fund this project in some shape or form. And then in addition to that, if we raise enough money, I'm working with a nonprofit called Tomorrow Battalion, and they are a nonprofit that supports first responders and veterans. So we're going to use some of the proceeds to support their cause as well.
That is so cool. And when you mentioned Mom and Dad Army, founded by Seek Smith, a mutual friend, she is who introduced us to each other. So I appreciate her for that.
Yeah, Seek's a wonderful lady. She's doing great things with Mom and Dad Army. She has another organization called Badass Do-Gooders. So for anybody listening, please follow Seek and everything that she's doing. She's just a wonderful asset to this country.
She so is, and I get to be one of her badass do-gooders, so I'm kind of proud about that.
Will my bike stay charged for 1,200 miles?
Oh, he wants to use an electric bike on some. I think would that be cheating?
It's cheating. I'm not a cyclist, so I don't even own a bike at this point.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my.
So I'm a runner. I have a 100-mile race. I'm doing it at the end of July, so I have about a 5-week period between the 100-mile run and this 1,200-mile bike ride. And one of the reasons that I chose to do it on a bike is, one, running would take too long. We were trying to kind of get this in before the election, ignite patriotism at a grassroots level in September. And doing it in a car, I don't think would have made a big of a splash. So
Right.
I wanted to have like a physical show of endurance and resilience, to kind of parallel our country in a sense, like in a metaphorically speaking. Like, we are a resilient country that has potential for amazing things. And I don't want to see us fall because we're too busy infighting.
He's gonna run 100. You're gonna run 100 miles.
No, he's
Yes.
You're going to run 100 miles.
100 miles.
He's going to bicycle.
I know, but how?
For 1,200, I hope you're going to have a good padded seat, because I'm telling you, we ride down the block and my fanny hurts. So
I'll put it on my wants list.
How long does it take to you run 100 miles, just go, or do you take
so the goal is sub 24 hours. So that's been my benchmark for this event. So I'm looking for like a 22, 23 hour type finish.
Wow.
That is
good for you, man.
amazing. I could not ever.
I will get the mail out of the mailbox today. You don't have to do it, Cheryl.
You
I will do that.
endure to get
I
to the
will
end of
do
the
that.
driveway.
My goal is to inspire.
That is awesome.
Fantastic.
And the 1,200 mile thing, 26 days, how exciting would that be? Because, definitely when you're riding on a bicycle, you're going to see a lot more and feel a lot more than you would in a car. So that is awesome.
Yeah, and I'm hoping along the way, like, this is going to gain traction, like, through local media and whatnot. And I'm hoping, like, during those rides, like, I can stop and talk to somebody on the side of the road, or, at a gas station or a store, or like, this is about all of us, all 350 or 400 million of us. This isn't, I've been saying this from the beginning. It's not a left or a right thing. It's not a Republican or a Democrat thing. This is an American thing, and we should all be thinking this way.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
We need to come together, or else we're not going to have a country to complain about.
It's a shame because we don't listen to other people, and they don't, we're not communicating well.
What? No, I'm sorry. I could not resist.
Yeah.
So, tell us about your career background, some more about your career background and your company, Soleful Training. Like, maybe we could get some training so we could endure all the way to the end of the driveway and back in one trip. So, what exactly is Soleful Training?
So I started my law enforcement career in 2011. About 5 years in, I became a detective. I specialized in domestic violence. Within my detective career is collateral, or I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Additional duty. I spent 3 years on our SWAT team, and how kind of Soleful Training got started is my commander at the time found out that I run 100-mile races and asked me to, put something together to start training our guys to keep them in shape. And I was like, well, I don't really know anything about training anybody. I just like to run, And I'm like, well, this could benefit me if I start learning a little bit more. So I went out and I got a strength and conditioning certification, and then nutrition, and then I started running some challenges at the department, and I realized I really enjoyed kind of doing the wellness aspect of this. So I created Soulful Training to give back to the first responder community, where I bring in wellness programs that focus on making first responders happier and healthier. And one of my favorite things to teach is what's called the Wim Hof method. Are you familiar with that at all?
I am not.
So the Wim Hof method was founded by a guy named Wim Hof. He's a European extreme athlete. He has like 26 world records related to like cold exposure and whatnot. And he created this method that has 3 pillars, and it's mindset, breath work, and cold exposure. And so we use like some techniques and things of like how to think differently, how to change the way that our brain functions so we can focus more on positive things. And there's some meditation aspect to it. And then you go into the breath work, which is a very specific type of breath work to improve immunity, reduce inflammation, and help us deal with stress. And then the last part is we go into an ice tub and you learn how to manage stress. We learn
Yikes.
how to manage external stress using our breath, which is the goal of the cold exposure.
Wow,
One of
that
the
is
goals.
wild. Now, here, as hot as it is right this minute, maybe diving into a cold plunge sounds amazing. But yeah, those I've been hearing more and more about the benefits of cold plunge. And you're talking about it in sort of like controlling mind over matter, or stress reduction, that sort of thing. But I've also heard that it really releases endorphins, or something along those lines as well.
Yeah, so you're going to get a huge bump in dopamine. You're also going to get some cortisol, adrenaline release, some cortisol release. And what's cool about the method, if you do it correctly, is the dopamine will stay high for about 3 or 4 hours. So you'll be in a pretty good mood after you leave the class. But your cortisol and adrenaline levels taper off fairly quickly. So you're getting kind of that immediate stressor, and you're using your breath to calm yourself down and to lower those stress hormones, because that's the goal consistently, right? Like we don't want to have high stress hormones. And then for the rest of the day, you're just like, man, I just feel good. I mean, for no particular reason, like I'm just having a good day. It's not like a drug high or anything like that.
Yeah.
You're just gonna kind of have this little bop in your step, like, yeah, okay, I'm having a good day. And that's what we want. That's what we want every day.
I love it. And for me, it would probably be like, okay, nothing can be as bad as sitting in frozen ice water. So the rest of my day is obviously going to be better. So
Can we get ice in Arizona right now?
I don't know. It's a
It's
challenge.
hard. I'll tell you, I've taught a couple classes in the heat, like in the Chandler area, and it is really difficult to get the water cold in the summertime. Really difficult.
No doubt.
Yeah, you don't even have to turn the hot water on in the shower.
Mm.
It's already
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, going back to our 13 original colonies and where it all began, and the men that came together to create this nation and write the recipe book that we're supposed to be following, right? Our roadmap that we're supposed to be following, our Constitution, our Bill of Rights. Can you, for our audience that, obviously at Gun Freedom Radio, we are concerned with freedom in general and, our firearms rights, tie the two things together for us. And what, how does it tie into our Bill of Rights, particularly our Second Amendment?
Well, I think if we really just kind of make Americans aware of like where we came from and why it's important. We had the Revolutionary War for a specific reason, right? Like the British were coming in like and doing all these things. We didn't have freedom of speech. We didn't have, the Second Amendment, which is extremely important. We didn't have due process. We didn't have any of these things. So our founders wrote the Constitution based on a specific need to limit government involvement in our everyday freedoms. And I want to make people aware of how important keeping our Constitution intact is to limit the government involvement. And one of those, there's a reason why they wrote right to bear arms second. That was the second thing they thought of because they had just fought a war against oppression.
Yeah.
And yes, I understand, like, we have drones and we have fighter jets and like, but your average person needs a way to not only defend themselves, but to protect themselves as well. There's a lot of bad people out there. I've saw this working in my law enforcement career.
Absolutely.
We need to have the right to protect ourselves. So the Second Amendment wasn't written for hunters,
Exactly.
which, I also believe we should have the right to hunt and, grow our own food and provide for ourselves. But what the reality comes down to, and we've gotten away from this, we are not self-sufficient in almost any aspect of our lives anymore. We rely on the grocery store to give us food, the government to do this, and so on and so forth. And part of bringing awareness to this event is making people understand that we are so capable and we have the ability to make sure that we have the freedoms that we enjoy right now that aren't taken from us, from our government. And we're moving down that path very, very quickly to where like they have all the power. The people have almost no power anymore. And what it's going to take is a collective effort, a non-violent collective effort to say enough is enough.
Yes, absolutely. And the Second Amendment has 27 words. The entire amendment is 27 words long. You're going to be gone for 26 days. Add one more day to that, and you could do a day per word for the Second Amendment. I'm looking for any tie-ins I can, but you said that so well and so perfectly that, the freedoms that many generations have enjoyed are failing. They're being chipped away. And on our watch, in my lifetime, I had to come to the deciding place that whatever I do or don't do in my lifetime will have reverberating impact on my daughter's life and now my two granddaughters' lives. And when we sit back and just assume that it's all going to be okay, and we say, well, we have the Constitution, so we're good, we're safe, right? We aren't, because our founders basically made one promise to us, and that was that it would require eternal vigilance in order to preserve what they had set in motion.
Right.
And any ways that we can shine a light on it, encourage people, bring excitement back to learning about our origin story, is amazing. And I just love that you're going to be doing that. Do you have an actual start date yet? It should be on your website here, and I probably missed it.
Yeah, September 3rd is going to be the start date. We're going to start in Exeter, New Hampshire at it was a operational tavern for many, many, many years, but it's now a museum. And I chose that spot particularly because a lot of the revolutionary militia would meet at this tavern to have meetings about how to fight the British. So I wanted to make sure that wherever I stop has some sort of significance in American history.
Absolutely. On the way, are you going to be going through Lexington and Concord by any chance? Because that's where the shot heard round the world, where the British Army came for our ammo and our guns, and that was the step too far. And we said, absolutely no, that's a step too far, and that's what sparked the whole thing. But is that along your journey?
Yeah, so what I did was made general stops. So like I have Boston listed on the website. And I think I gave myself a couple days in some of the larger cities because there's just so much history along our eastern seaboard. So yes, my plan is to go to Lexington and Concord. I want, the USS Constitution, everything along the Freedom Trail. So we're trying to get as much in as humanly possible in the days that I'm in these cities.
I love it. This is such a cool idea.
No, it is. It's great.
And these are the kind of things that make it easier to share with people. And like you said, completely take any political ideology out of the picture, right? And so you can talk to kids about it. Like, here's this beautiful coffee table book. Look at these pictures. Look at these places. What's significant about this? We're always looking for tips and tools like that. We've started homeschooling as a family, not just Dan and I, but the parents, our oldest granddaughter. And we're always looking for fun and engaging ways to make everything real, math real, right? It's not just a bunch of numbers on a page. It's the way that we cook, right? You need math to cook. You need math to do anything really in life. History matters, but sometimes it just seems like a never-ending list of, okay, this date and that date and this name that doesn't mean anything to me. And so when we can, give it some substance and embodiment, amazing. I love it.
Yeah, and we get a chance that's part of the other reason. I'm taking my daughter with me so she gets to experience this firsthand. She's not going to read about a history book in a classroom. Like, she's going to see the USS Constitution and the Liberty Bell and the 9/11 Memorial. And, we're holding a gala for all our sponsors at a Civil War fort in Savannah, Georgia.
Cool.
So, I want her to be able to experience the United States at its finest, kind of in our heyday, and relish in our history, and see how important our Constitution and our first, second, third, fourth, all those amendments play a role in where we're at right now.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
one of the other things that I want to do along the way is speak with first responders and veterans, because they're the ones also not only protecting this country, but they're also the ones that they're the foot soldiers in the tyranny. So I want to make sure that our soldiers and our law enforcement officers are not enforcing unconstitutional laws.
Amen.
We took an oath.
Amen.
I put my right hand up and said, I will support this Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And damn it, I meant it. And I'm hoping that everybody that put on that uniform means it as well. And it's no longer a good excuse to say I'm following orders, I want to keep my job. We need to stand up as officers, as soldiers, to say enough is enough. And we need to take our country back, one person at a time.
That's amazing. And yes, thank you for that. That's always a concern, right? I mean, I talked to some people the other day at just a party I was at, and they were like, well, law enforcement officers won't, enforce the wrong laws. And I'm like, some do, but the problem is their function is to enforce laws. So really, we have to work with our legislators so that bad laws don't get passed that need to be enforced. So, who's really the bad guy here? Really, it always falls back on we, the people. We have abdicated way too much of our responsibility and our power. And so then bad laws do get written, then people wearing uniforms are put in that awful position, right? Yes, I took an oath, but I'm supposed to enforce what? The law. And this is what the whole thing's a mess. And so one step at a time, I believe we can move the needle back, move the line back to where our founders placed it for us in the first place. I wanted to ask you about your bike. What's your plan for that? You should really get somebody that, a bike manufacturer that wants to be part of this, right? And sponsor it and donate it, and then maybe sell like a race car where you get little, stickers on there or something for your sponsors. That would be fun.
That is part of the plan. I've reached out to a couple of bike companies. I haven't heard back yet, so I'm gonna have to follow up with them. But that is the plan, to try to work with a company that's, pro-American, to get something donated. And of course, everything we're gonna do, we're gonna highlight for any sponsorship we get. We of course want to bring light to any company that wants to be involved. So if hypothetically, let's say Trek, because it's the first one that came to mind, wants to get involved, like, yeah, we're going to put Trek all over social media. Like, we're going to put Trek all over the place, just to showcase that they are a company that that supports our nation.
Oh, I love it. This is such a cool idea. All right. Well, as we start winding down, tell folks again how they can follow what you're doing, and I think primarily right now support what you're doing, whether they can be a sponsor or maybe they are with a company that they want to encourage their company to be a sponsor. What levels of sponsorship do you have? Can the average Joe, throw $5 in to buy you a bottle of water on the trip, or what are the opportunities?
Yeah, so if you go to tourdepatriot.com, it'll lay everything out. It has the corporate sponsorship packages. Again, your average Joe can either donate, and if you can buy a program. Again, anything that's bought on that website is going to go to support the tour and support Tomorrow Battalion. So there's a ton of different ways people can support. If you want to reach out to me at soulfultraining@gmail.com, you can go to soulfultraining.com and follow along at my Instagram is @soulful_training.
So cool. I'm very excited to watch this unfold. Definitely want to have you back on and when you're done to talk about all of your experiences and how people can continue to encourage whatever your next journey is. So thank you so much, Adam Boyd.
Thank you for having me. It was such a pleasure.
Thanks, Adam.
Absolutely. Bye-bye. God bless.
Have a good day.
You too.
Wow, what a story that's going to be.
Yes, I'm
I mean,
so
come on.
excited.
I mean, riding a bike, 1,200 miles, 26 days.
I could never.
That would be, what a story that's going to be. That's going to be awesome.
I agree. I think that that's phenomenal. And even just his kind of career arc that brought him to why he has
Right.
Soulful Training in the first place, and then now to this journey, and that he's got a daughter and he understands that her future is really in our hands.
Right.
And I don't think that enough of us take that seriously.
Right. And what a perfect age to
So-
take her with all that too.
I love
So
it.
everybody be on everything.
Absolutely love it. Anything that's a family effort, being family business owners ourselves, we
Adam Boyd,
fully
thank you very
support.
much.
Absolutely. And all of our amazing listeners
Yep.
all over the planet, wherever there is internet, we have listeners and followers. And we see you. We look at our analytics and we know what countries people are listening in, and it just shows you that freedom resonates with people. They are interested in these conversations, and it just excites us and helps fuel us to want to keep going and doing more of this and finding more diverse and interesting topics and subject matter experts.
It's weird when you said freedom and everything, and I was going to say, no, boo boo, we have freedom, you don't, to some of those countries.
Do we though?
But really, we're losing our freedoms. And the bad thing is that the people that are coming here to be free are allowing the things that oppress them in their countries to happen here. And
Yeah,
freedom is free,
It is
right?
weird how that happens. Or let's say you live in a state that has just piled regulations and laws on top of you. Then you move to the next state over that hasn't had that happen. And then what do? You continue to vote in the oppression.
Right.
It's madness to me. But we're doing our part. We're doing what we can do to help
Yes.
people realize
Wake up.
that there's a different way to be, and that our past really can inform our future in a lot of ways. So anyway, excellent point. If you want to watch this video again or any of the videos that we have, you can go to YouTube, you can go to GunStreamer, you can go to the OpsLens smartphone app, and when you go to those platforms, please click the notification and the subscription buttons, because that signals to those platforms that you value this.
But that's hard
These
to do, isn't it?
conversations.
Like, how do I do that?
You just click it.
But I have to use my thumb?
Your mouse, maybe?
Oh, that's
Or
really
if you're on your
hard.
phone, you can use your thumb.
Just
I say
Could
just
you do it
it.
for me?
Maybe we need Soulful Training to teach people the endurance to do the subscription
Is
and
there
the
somebody I can
notification.
call to
I
click
don't,
my like button?
I don't, I don't know how to answer that question, Dan.
No, please do.
Mm.
Click the like button. Let them know.
Fantastic. And then if you want to listen to the audio only version, because maybe you are on a long bike ride, maybe you are doing something to, some training, endurance training, or you're just laying by the pool enjoying some beautiful sunshine,
How could you be
then
more
go.
American than to listen to our show?
Exactly, right? Then go to our website, gunfreedomradio.com, click the on demand tab, and
Binge listen to your heart's content, darling.
And also, if you want to see the links and the photos and the bios of all of our guests, including Adam Boyd and including his website, tourdepatriot.com, then go to the guest tab. It is an ever growing body of subject matter experts. And when you spend time there, we do not hate that. We love that a lot. We value you. Your time is your most finite resource. And when you spend it with us, that really is such a gift. So thank you for that.
Well, speaking of what you hate that, I cannot stand it when I'm out shooting
Yeah,
and my gun slips.
that's true. That's a great setup, Dan, for us to tell folks about one of our good friends' products called lockedingrip.com. It is a liquid shooting sports chalk. It is created by Brian and Shelley Hill of The Complete Combatant. It is a no slip, better traction, heightened connection, liquid shooting sports chalk for safer, faster shooting. For superior grip, it is made for shooters by shooters. Go get some for yourself and your range buddy, lockedingrip.com. And we're talking about America, right? So why wouldn't we want to support American made products, American jobs on American soil, buying American made products? We want to tell you and invite you today to join an invitation only exclusive online shopping club that is helping our family and millions of other families cut the cord on those big box stores, those huge conglomerates that actually use every one of the dollars you spend with them to diminish our freedoms and our individual liberties. Well, when you shop at patriothousehold.com/GFR for Gun Freedom Radio, you are buying American made products, supporting American jobs, and also supporting the work that we do. We get a tiny portion of every dollar that you spend to fuel our work. And the Second Amendment Foundation that is out there fighting court cases across this nation to support our Second Amendment rights, they get a tiny portion of every single dollar you spend, from laundry soap to skincare to delicious snacks like these guys right here. We love theirs. Simply Fit. The peach praline are amazing. Take my word for it. Well, don't take my word for it. Go buy some for yourself.
Put that over there for.
I don't know. Maybe it's mine. I'm going to snack on it in between our episodes. You can shop online as you need things, or what I do, I set it and I forget it. And then it couldn't be more easy and convenient because it shows up on my doorstep. And just amazing high quality products. Just go to patriothousehold.com/GFR for Gun Freedom Radio. All right. Until next time, what are we going to do, Dan?
Pray for our nation.
Are we?
Yep.
Why would we want to do that?
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Look at all the issues that we're having, especially, pray to give us wisdom to get the right people in office to work for us, not above us.
Absolutely. Well said, sir. So then are we going to pray for those people, even the ones that aren't working for us?
We pray they get out of office.
So we're going to pray.
And then we can pray more for them, because if they're leaving us alone and then they're doing their own thing by themselves, then I could pray for them. But I don't know if I want to pray for somebody that's running our country.
Well, I do think we still have to pray for people that we don't like, and maybe especially for the people we don't like, because, maybe they will seek wisdom. Maybe they will remember that they've taken an oath to the Constitution and that every vote they take is to support that and
Yeah.
not to work against
I-
it. So I'm
yeah,
going to
I
vote
think that's a
even.
good theory. I guess I could try it. Yeah, well, let's vote for the people that we don't
We're going to vote for him. We're going to pray for him.
pray for them.
All right.
Pray for them. Vote to get out of office.
Yeah, but definitely pray for them. All right. Until next time, be good to each other. Have a great week and God bless.
Bye bye.